peace be with you. As the Father has sent me, so I send you. And when he had said this, he breathed on them and said to them, receive the Holy Spirit. Whose sins you forgive are forgiven them, and whose sins you retain are retained. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Today the church celebrates the great solemnity of Pentecost. Pentecost, as you perhaps maybe know, is arguably the birthday of the Catholic Church. So from Father and myself, happy birthday to all of you. Make sure that you do something special to celebrate the birthday of the family of God today. If your mom and dad is here with you in Mass today, make sure they remember that the good deacon said, do something to celebrate. This is a great day. As I was crafting my homily earlier this week, I realized there was a fear in my heart, and I kind of told myself, oh my gosh, well, I'm kind of new to this. What should I be doing? How should I be going about doing this? So I reached out to a couple of friends of mine, and I said, you got to give me some content here for Pentecost Sunday. Feed me. What do you got? One of them said, well, make sure that you let the people of God know that Pentecost Sunday is the all-star appearance of the Holy Spirit. Today is all about the Holy Spirit. The second individual that I reached out to and I asked, he said, well, okay, last Sunday on the Feast of the Ascension, you told the people of God that that's the day that Jesus started working from home. And if that's the day Jesus started working from home, then surely Pentecost Sunday is the day that the apostles' quarantine ended. Right? They were sent out. Now, honestly, that kind of struck me. And so I began to pray a little bit with this notion of the apostles being quarantined, because I think that's something that we can relate to. And I asked myself the question, why were they quarantined? You were with me at the beginning of the gospel that we just heard. We were told that the apostles are in a locked room. They are sealed off. Why? Well, St. John, who is one of them who was there in that upper room, tells us that it's because of fear. The apostles were sealed off from the rest of the world. They were locked away because of fear. Perhaps that's something that might resonate with us. Perhaps it's not. But I then asked myself the question, well, why? What were they fearful of? Perhaps it was because they didn't want to be associated as followers of Jesus. They were fearful of what others might think of them. Perhaps they were fearful of what the future was going to look like. Perhaps they were just fearful of how what became comfortable to them was I guess, going to continue. How life was going to progress. All of us have fears that resonate in our minds and our hearts. And I think we are being gifted the opportunity through this gospel today to receive 3 keys, if you will, from Jesus, from how to unlock the doors of our hearts. Oftentimes fear drives us to turn inwards, to lock ourselves in that upper room, if you will. And so Jesus in the gospel today gives us 3 keys to unlock that door. Because that door, when it is unlocked, that heart that becomes open through that doorway becomes far more open to the promptings and the work of the Holy Spirit. So what is it? How is it that Jesus showed us in the gospel today that we can open ourselves up to the workings of the Holy Spirit by saying no to fear? The first is by saying yes to acknowledging our wounds. When you hear that, you might already start cringing a little bit. I kind of cringed even when I said this. When Jesus entered into the midst of the apostles, what was the first thing that he did? He said, peace be with you. And then what was the first thing that he did? He showed the apostles his wounds. In showing the apostles his wounds, Jesus reminds each of us what he has come to do. And at the end of the day, the entire reason Jesus came was to bring healing to his people. All of us have suffered, all of us do suffer from sin and from its effects. All of us know what it means to fail to love or to fail to receive real love. And Jesus has come to meet us precisely in that hurt, precisely in that pain. But we are free to choose whether or not to let him in. And so the first key that Jesus gives us to unlocking that door in our hearts that often gets sealed to the work of the Holy Spirit is to acknowledge our littleness, to acknowledge the wounds that we carry in our need for them. Secondly, after Jesus shows his wounds to the apostles, he says, "As the Father has sent me, so I send you." We call these guys the apostles. Apostle in Greek literally means one who has been sent. If we're going to be people who are sent by Jesus, which if he sent the 12, he certainly continues to desire to send us on this Pentecost Sunday. If we're going to be sent by Jesus, we have to belong to Jesus. And so in order for us to belong to Jesus, we have to choose at the end of the day, at the beginning, the end, and throughout the day, that it's his will, it's his plan, it's his mind and his heart that we want, even more so than our own. And so the second key that Jesus offers us to open that door in our hearts to the Holy Spirit is to surrender. When we truly think about what that word means, we might, again, want to turn inwards. We might want to think, I don't know if I really want to surrender everything to Jesus. If that tension, that struggle is there, I invite you to name it and to give it to the Lord. What does surrender look like? Is it just the good things? Or is it also the areas in our lives that perhaps aren't going so well? What are we willing to surrender to Jesus so that we can fully belong to him, so that he can send all of us, not just part of us, to his people? The third key to unlocking this door that Jesus offers us comes right after he breathes on the apostles, offering them the gift of the Holy Spirit. What immediately did Jesus say after he gave the Holy Spirit to the apostles? He spoke of forgiveness. The Spirit of truth, the Holy Spirit that we receive during Pentecost Sunday, in a particular way this day, is the Spirit of mercy. And that Spirit grows and gains power and authority in our lives to the extent that we are willing to live lives of mercy. And mercy, what it looks like played out in this gospel, is forgiveness. Unforgiveness, that sense of calculated love, that mindset that says, I'm going to keep track, I'm going to keep score of what you have done to me or of what I have given to you, right? That's not real love. The Spirit of mercy imbues a love that is completely self-forgiving, a love that does not count, a love that does not keep score. And this is the kind of love that the Holy Spirit gives. And as we choose to forgive, to be people of mercy, to love without counting, this is how the Holy Spirit grows within us. So those three keys: to acknowledge our littleness and our woundedness, to choose to surrender, and to choose to be people of mercy, people of true repentance and forgiveness. Last thought for you. Today is a really special day in the life of the church. Yes, it's Pentecost Sunday, but it's also May the 31st. And usually on May the 31st, the church commemorates the visitation of the Blessed Mother. That day that she, after receiving the Holy Spirit in full, right, Jesus becomes present in her womb. She takes off and she goes to visit her cousin Elizabeth. And in a particular way, I invite you to consider asking Our Lady today to teach you more fully what it means to surrender, what it means to be a true person of mercy, what it means to be a true friend of her spouse, the Holy Spirit. And so, as we go forth from this liturgy, from this place today, I invite you to please consider these things. Where are the areas in my life where I have not yet acknowledged my need for Jesus? Where have I maybe not yet surrendered fully to his plan? Who are the people that I either need to forgive, or perhaps I ought to seek forgiveness from? Mother Mary, we entrust the victory of your Son and the opening of the doors of our hearts to your spouse, the Holy Spirit.
We conclude this Easter season, Pentecost Sunday. We're given the privilege of praying, instead of the usual nicely Constantinople Creed, the Apostles' Creed. And so we pray. I believe in God, the Father Almighty, creator of heaven and earth, and in Jesus Christ, his only Son, our Lord, who was conceived by the Holy Spirit, born of the Virgin Mary, suffered under Pontius Pilate, was crucified, died, and was buried. He descended into hell. On the third day he rose again from the dead. He ascended into heaven and is seated at the right hand of God, the Father Almighty. From there he will come to judge the living and the dead. I believe in the Holy Spirit, the Holy Catholic Church, the communion of saints, the forgiveness of sins, the resurrection of the body, and life everlasting. Amen. Coming before our Heavenly Father, we ask that you hear all of our prayers, our needs, and petitions, as we hear it in several different languages of the universal church.
That the Holy Spirit, who makes present the mystery of Christ, will reconcile all people and bring them into communion with the Church. Let us pray to the Lord.
Lord, hear our prayer.
In Dutch, dat de Heilige Geest het over zijn rijkdom zal tonen aan allen die het nodig hebben. Laten wij bidden tot het Heil.
That the Holy Spirit, the Comforter, will show his richness to all those in need. Let us pray to the Lord.
Lord, hear our prayer.
That all relationships in our own lives be made holy through the gift of the Holy Spirit, the bond of love, and the Blessed Trinity. Let us pray to the Lord.
Lord, hear our prayer.
In Afrikaans, vir gemechaniseerdes, die twyfelryke, diegene wat op die punt van wanhoop is, dat die vrede van die Gees 'n nuwe lewe sal gee. Laat ons vir die Here bid.
For the marginalized, the doubt-ridden, and those on the verge of despair, that the peace of the Holy Spirit will bring them to new life. Let us pray to the Lord.
Lord, hear our prayer. In French, pour la fin de la pandémie, et pour la pitié des ceux qui ont souffert d'elle, dans la vie et l'union, prions le Seigneur. For an end to the pandemic and mercy for those suffering due to it, let us pray to the Lord. Lord, hear our prayer.
En Spanish, para que todas las relaciones de nuestra vida se hagan santas a través del regalo del Espíritu Santo, el enlace del amor en la Santísima Trinidad, roguemos al Señor.
Lord, hear our prayer.
That all the relationships in our own lives be made holy through the gift of the Holy Spirit, the bond of love, and the Blessed Trinity. Let us pray to the Lord.
Lord, hear our prayer.
Per tutti I parrocchiani di Santi Angeli, per i quali viene offerta questa messa, preghiamo il Signore. That was in Italian. For all parishioners of holy angels, for whom this Mass is being offered, let us pray to the Lord.
Lord, hear our prayer. We ask all of these through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank
pray, brethren, that my sacrifices, yours may be acceptable to God, the Almighty Father. As we pray, O Lord, let us promise by your Son, the Holy Spirit may reveal to us more abundantly the hidden mystery of this sacrifice, and graciously lead us into all truth, through Christ our Lord. Amen. The Lord be with you. And with your spirit. Lift up your hearts. Let us give thanks to the Lord our God. It is right and just. It is truly right and just, our duty and our salvation, always and everywhere to give you thanks, Lord, Holy Father, Almighty and eternal God, for bringing your paschal mystery to completion. You bestowed the Holy Spirit today on those you made your adopted children, by uniting them to your only begotten Son. This same Spirit, as the Church came to birth, opened to all peoples the knowledge of God, and brought together the many languages of the earth to profession of the one faith. Therefore, come with paschal joy, every land, every people exults in your praise, and even the heavenly powers with the angelic hosts sing together the unending hymn of your glory as they acclaim. Be therefore most merciful Father, we make the prayer and petition through Jesus Christ, your Son, our Lord, that you accept and bless these gifts, these offerings, these holy and unblemished sacrifices, which we offer you firstly for your holy Catholic Church. Be pleased to grant your peace, to guard united effort throughout the whole world, together with your servant Francis, our Pope, and Joseph, our Bishop, and all those who, holding to the truth and on the Catholic and apostolic faith. Remember, Lord, your servants and all gathered here, whose faith and devotion are known to you. For then we offer you the sacrifice of praise, or they offer for themselves and all who are dear to them, for the redemption of their souls and hope of health and well-being, and paying their homage to you, the eternal God, living and true. Celebrating the most sacred day of Pentecost, on which the Holy Spirit appeared to the apostles in tongues of fire, and in communion with those whose memory we venerate, especially the glories of our Virgin Mary, Mother of our God and Lord Jesus Christ. And blessed Joseph, his spouse, and blessed the apostles, martyrs, Peter and Paul, Andrew, James, John, Thomas, James, Philip, Bartholomew, Matthew, Simon, and Jude, Linus, Cletus, Clement, Sixtus, Cornelius, Cyprian, Lawrence, Chrysogonus, John and Paul, Cosmas and Damian, and all your saints. We ask you through the merits and prayers in all things we may be defended by your protecting help. Therefore, Lord, we pray, graciously accept this oblation of our service, that of your whole family, order our days in your peace, and command that we be delivered from eternal damnation and encounter among the flock of those you have chosen. Be pleased, O God, we pray, to bless, acknowledge, and approve this offering in every respect. Make it spiritual and acceptable, so that it may become for us the body and blood of your most beloved Son, our Lord, Jesus Christ. On the day before he was discipled, he took bread in his holy and venerable hands, and with eyes raised to heaven, to you, O God, his almighty Father, giving you thanks, he said, blessed, broke the bread, and gave it to his disciples, saying, take this, all of you, and eat of it, for this is my body, which will be given up for you. In a similar way, when supper was ended, he took his precious chalice in his holy and venerable hands, and once more, giving you thanks, he said the blessing, and gave the chalice to his disciples, saying, take this, all of you, and drink from it, for this is the chalice of my blood, the blood of the new and eternal covenant, which will be poured out for you and for many for the forgiveness of sins. Do this in memory of me. Mysterium Fidei. Therefore, O Lord, as we celebrate the memorial of the blessed passion and resurrection from the dead, and the glorious ascension into heaven of Christ, your Son, our Lord, we, your servants and the holy people, offer to your glorious majesty from the gifts that you have given us this pure victory, this holy victory, this spotless victory, the holy bread of eternal life, and the chalice of everlasting salvation. Be pleased to look upon these offerings with serene and kindly countenance, and to accept them as once you were pleased to accept the gifts of your servant Abel, the just, the sacrifice of Abraham, our father in faith, and the offering of your high priest Melchizedek, a holy sacrifice of spotless victory. In humble prayer we ask you, Almighty God, command that these gifts be borne by the hands of your holy angels to your altar on high, in the sight of your divine majesty, so that all of us, who through this participation of the altar receive the most holy body and blood of your Son, may be filled with every grace and heavenly blessing. Remember also, Lord, your servants who have gone before us with the sign of faith, and rest in the sleep of peace. And then the Lord, we pray, that all who sleep in Christ, a place of refreshment, light, and peace. Bless also your servants, who those sinners hope in your abundant mercies, graciously grant some share in fellowship with your holy apostles and martyrs, with John the Baptist, Stephen, Matthias, Barnabas, Ignatius, Alexander, Marcellinus, Peter, Felicitas, Perpetua, Agatha, Lucy, Agnes, Cecilia, Anastasia, and all your saints. Admit us to beseech you into their company, not weighing our merits, but granting us your pardon through Christ our Lord, through whom you continue to make all these good things, O Lord. You sanctify them, fill them with light, bless them, and bestow them upon us. Through them and with them and in him, O God, Almighty Father, in the unity of the Holy Spirit, all glory and honor is yours forever and ever. As the Savior's command and form of divine teaching, we dare to say, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Deliver us, Lord, we pray, from every evil. Graciously grant peace in our days, that by the help of your mercy we may be always free from sin and safe from all distress, as we await the blessed hope and the coming of our Savior, Jesus Christ. Lord Jesus Christ, who said to your apostles, peace I leave you, my peace I give you. Look not on our sins, but on the faith of your church, and graciously grant our peace and unity in accordance with your will, and live and reign forever and ever. Amen. Peace of the Lord be with you always.
And with your spirit.
Behold, the Lamb of God, behold him who takes away the sins of the world. Blessed are those called to the supper of the Lamb. Lord, I am not worthy that you should enter under my roof, but only say the word, and my soul shall be healed. Let us pray. O God, who bestow heavenly gifts upon your church, safeguard, we pray, that the grace you have given, with the gift of the Holy Spirit poured out upon her, may retain all its force, and that the spiritual food may gain her abundance of eternal redemption. Through Christ our Lord. Amen. The Lord be with you. And with your spirit.
Bow down for the blessing.
May God, the Father of lights, who was pleased to enlighten the disciples' minds by the outpouring of the Spirit, the Paraclete, grant you gladness by his blessing and make you always abound with the gifts of the same Spirit. Amen. May the wondrous flame that appeared above the disciples powerfully cleanse your hearts from every evil and pervade them with its purifying light. Amen. May God, who has been pleased to unite many times in the profession of one faith, give you perseverance in that same faith, and by believing may you journey from hope to clear vision. Amen. And may the blessing of Almighty God, the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit come down on you and remain with you forever.
Amen.
Go forth the masses ended, alleluia, alleluia.
Thanks be to God, hallelujah, hallelujah.
Saint Michael, the Archangel, defend us now. Be our defense against the wickedness and snares of the devil. May God be with you, and do thou, Prince of heaven and earth, by the power of God, cast into hell Satan and all evil spirits who prowl about the world seeking the ruin of souls. Amen. Regina Coeli, Laetare, Alleluia. We are the Meruisti Mortare, Alleluia. Resurrection, Sicut Dixit, Alleluia.